All right, welcome to the storage session for our 2021 summit. So to kick us off, we actually want to recap kind of where we've been in 2021, where we want to go in 2022, and certainly get everybody engaged and excited about all the new things we're going to be working on. So let's start with a recap of who we are. So I'm Jason Adrian. I work at Microsoft, one of the co-leads. Dave Landsman is online. He wasn't able to make it down. He is my other co-lead. He works at Western Digital.
And I'm Matt Shumway from Seagate Technology, and I'm the storage IC lead, incubation committee lead.
All right, so even in a pandemic, we actually got quite a bit done this year. So we've had 5 contributions that were accepted. They are in the contribution database. The first is the data center SSD specification 2.0. That is up on the contributions. It was a joint effort across 4 different companies. So Dell, HPE, Microsoft, and Facebook Meta. We have not updated the logos. We have the white paper.
Yeah, we also have we're very happy we have the Acoustic Surrogate white paper demo. This is kind of critical for the continued expansion of capacity for HDDs as we try to get customers to look at how fan noise impacts the vibration environment for the hard drive. And we're particularly proud of this because it was we had a lot of people contribute to this across the storage ecosystem. So.
And last, we have 3 more contributions from the Facebook team: the Yosemite V3, 1OU, 2OU, and the SSD panel specification. So thank you to the Facebook team. So those were the official contributions, but a lot more was done. We had some of our monthly calls. We also had a new work stream kickoff late in 2020 for the NVMe hard drive. Many of you might have been in some of our quarterly summits that we had back in 2018, 2019, when some of this was kicking off. And we actually got really good engagement. And as it's been going on, it's snowballing. We get a lot more engagement. We've had 20 to 30 companies on the calls at various different times. We're going to be talking more about that later this afternoon. We've made a lot of progress. So we're finally at a point where it's no longer just a discussion. We've actually taken action. We'll have contributions of specifications coming up in a couple of months. The other interesting thing that we've seen over the last 18 months is we helped drive the standardization of the E1.S form factor, specifically the 15 millimeter. So while the EDSF work group had 4 different variants, we as a community worked together to add a 5th. But the interesting part is it's not a 5th per se. We've seen the industry start converging on form factors. So it's really exciting to see that that 15 millimeter form factor has been adopted by every single one of the SSD vendors across the board. They all have products that are either launched now or will be launching in the coming months on this form factor. But again, a form factor alone doesn't help if you don't have systems. So if you haven't already, check out the summit floor. Many different companies, including Microsoft, we're showing our systems that support the 15 millimeter, and you'll see many other companies are doing it. So check out booths, come look at the Experience Center. We have a Supermicro and a Viking box out there showing native 15 millimeter support. This is really exciting times for the future of the SSDs. And then the thermal methodology. This is something we had kicked off in 2020. I think we presented some of that in the summit. I guess it would have been 2019. We spent some time, we got pretty far along, but it just didn't seem to gain enough traction to be an active work group. So all of the data that we've shared, all the work group is still archived, but we're going to put this on the back burner for the time being. So what does that do for 2022, setting us up for a brand new year? So I mentioned the NVMe hard drive specification. We've gotten to the point where we're going to be releasing it in the coming months, either by the end of this calendar year or in the beginning of next year. So we'll talk about more of that in our 2 o'clock session. But we also need to ask, what should we be working on? Let's bring some ideas to the table. You know, another good example of things that have come through the work group over the past 12 months. So Samsung provided concepts of how to make a toolless E1.S latch. So they provided that, they shared it to the team, they'll be making the official contribution. So definitely check out that from past calls. We have a sample up here. Samsung, I believe, also has some in their booth, but these are great examples of how we can work together. You know, sometimes we're competing on technologies, but we don't have to when it comes to standards, commodities, and platforms. So something to think about, you know, as you're looking at ideas to bring to this broader work group, to share, and to make everybody more efficient. So please reach out to us.
I think the only way this works is if the community kind of participates and brings these concepts to us. So that definitely, Dave, Jason, and I don't want to own the the narrative here. The narrative needs to come from the community.
And some of it may be ideas you have that you want to socialize with the broader community. That's why we have that mailing list. Feel free to reach out. If you want a smaller audience, again, you can reach out to Matt, Dave, or myself, and we're happy to help guide and maybe set things up. So please bring us ideas. Don't be shy. No idea is a bad idea. So definitely come talk to us, and we'll help out. So we have a lot of sessions this morning, well, this afternoon now. So we have 4 different main tracks. We'll take small breaks in between. So feel free to ask questions. Please hold them during the conversations and the presentations, but hopefully they'll be short enough that we'll have time to entertain some questions. If not, we also have an open discussion at 3:15 to 3:35. So if some of the prior conversations and presentations that you've seen haven't addressed your questions, you want to engage a little bit more, please hold your questions there, and we'll definitely make the time to address them. And with that, we'd like to introduce our first speaker.